Welcome back, my dear friends and fellow developers. Welcome back to my channel. So let's continue our journey where we're discussing about the different topics related to Omnistudio platform. We have came a long way where we discussed multiple topics like what is Omnistudio, what is Salesforce Industries, about its different layers and different tools. We have also covered experience layer tools, which is FlexCard and OmniScripts, and we have also covered service layer tool, which is integration procedure and DataRaptors. Now let's move further and let's see what is stored in our today's session. So today we will discuss about the best practices of the service layer tools, which is integration procedure and data adapters. So when we talk about best practices of integration procedure, as I mentioned in previous videos also, we should always use integration procedure for all data calls to Salesforce. What it says that because in integration procedure, multiple actions can be done in single transaction, and so Velocity also suggests, or we can say Salesforce also suggests that we should always use integration procedure whenever we are making any data calls. Second point says that we should use response action for integration procedure, trim the data, and only return what is needed. I mean by this is that we should always make use of a response action, which is nothing but action element in integration procedure, which is used to respond the data which is asked from the integration procedure. So we should always trim the data. We should not send the entire JSON node which we are obtaining. We should always trim it and send the data which is needed by the specific caller. The caller can be an OmniScript or it can be also an flex card. The third statement says that we should use multiple response action with different conditional execution formulas to allow an integration procedure to exit early under appropriate conditions. So if you guys remember in my previous video, I have mentioned that in all the block elements, we have an common property named as execution conditional formula, which help us to identify whether the block has to be executed or not. So we should make use of this special conditional formulas so that we can give an early exit to the integration procedure. So let's suppose we are doing multiple operations and for particular scenario only one operation is valid. So for that operation we can use this action element and then we can simply finish the processing as per a need basis. So it can be used for early exit. Then it is always said that we should always make use of caching in integration procedure so that frequently accessed data can be used and the server time can be saved. Then we have multiple settings in our integration procedure which can be used like use future, invoke method fire and forget, and invoke method non-blocking. These are some of the key functionality which is given by integration procedure so that we can run an asynchronous job like how we are having different classes in our Salesforce platform also. So if you want, you can pause the video for a moment and you can go through these three settings like use future, invoke method fire and forget, and invoke method non-blocking. We will deep dive into this all in our hands-on series where we will implement all of this one by one and we will see how the things are going on in the real life scenarios. Now moving further, we have discussed about best practices of integration procedure. So let's go to best practices of DataRaptor. So in case of DataRaptor, it is always said that we should create a targeted DataRaptors that only does one operation at a time. Like we should create a DataRaptor that can only extract or load, and it should do operation-wise things in our DataRaptor. Second thing it says that we should use relationship queries. So there are two ways by the help of which we can extract data. First is which we usually do like in our extract page, we simply map two or three objects and then we make the relationship between them. But Velocity always says that always make use of relationship query so that we can simply do the processing faster and it will reduce the number of objects in our extraction path. We will see this in our in our upcoming videos where we will do this hands-on to see what is the difference between relationship queries fetching and the normal object type fetching. Then it says that always keep the number of S object to three or fewer, as I have mentioned the second point itself that we should make use of relationship queries. So with the help of that, we should keep the S objects to three or fewer because if it grows, then it will impact the data performance. Then we should always make sure of to have an filtering and sorting on the index field like the ID and the name, so that it might be working on the same. Then as integration procedure, we have caching mechanism with the help of which we can store the frequently accessed data, and on the regular basis it will auto update with the new data if there is any changes. Then let's suppose we are doing an DataRaptor load. So there might be a case that we are creating duplicate data. To prevent that scenario, we should always designate a upsert key so that it will update the record if it is already there, else it will create a new record. So that it will also allow us to have an duplicate management with the help of DataRaptor. And then it says that we should avoid errors of the flagging of the fields which is required for the upsert field. These are some of the best practices of the DataRaptor. So that's pretty much for today, where we discussed about the different best practices of integration procedure in DataRaptor. Hopefully, this video should be fruitful. And if you like my content, please like and subscribe. And we will be catching up in my next videos with different topics. So signing off.